Well, hello and welcome to the most complete tarot reading on the internet. This is the Tao Manifesting Tarot. Nothing else like it. And the reason, very simple. We really dig in. We make this serious. This is not going to be rainbows and flowers and whatever else, the magical stuff. We're not doing that. We're dealing with the here and now. We're dealing with reality. We're dealing with the social, economic, political forces that are so critical right now in our life. That makes us different. But what additionally separates us is we combine numerology and astrology. Let me be clear. Tarot is the center of the reading. Your ability to manifest, your ability to create pictures inside your own head, your ability to be creative from within yourself is absolutely essential. You don't want computers, smartphones, or AI or any of that stuff because it makes you dumber, makes you weaker, makes you less creative. Half a dozen studies over the past 30 years have made that absolutely clear. But tarot, through my 20 years of doing tarot, has never really been a tool for predicting. And at first it was disappointing until I really kind of dug in and researched, and I said, tarot is the science of potential, its frequency, its energy. That's why it's so important to make the pictures inside of your own head without the electronic shit around you. And in fact, there have been a number of studies done, and it shows that the more you dive into this technological net we live in, the dumber that you get. About 4 or 5 studies over the past 30 years have showed kids at 5, as they're entering kindergarten, really high creative potential, almost 100% of the kids. By the time they graduate from college, those same kids, just about at zero creative potential. Why? They've learned how to not think. They've learned how to memorize. And that's all the difference in the world. You do that and you give up a tremendous potential inside your spirit. This is your transformation piece. This is your kryptonite. And that's what we're here to do. Focus on your ability to manifest using the potential energy in tarot. But additionally, I've done numerology and astrology for 50 years. These two disciplines or sciences really do kind of predict, in the sense that you've heard the expression, life keeps repeating. It does. It does. And so do the cycles within numerology and astrology. They keep repeating over and over and over and over and over again. The energy is the same. It may show up differently, but it's the same. For example, 2 major planets, Pluto and Uranus, were in the same position 250 years ago when we signed the Declaration of Independence that they are today. Pluto, evolution. Uranus, revolution. Isn't it interesting? Evolution, revolution. They fit so perfectly today. This is exactly where we stand. The energy is the same. It's showing up differently, of course, but the energy is the same. And transformation, in the end, comes from the tarot. The numerology, astrology are like a canoe on the river. They're going to follow the current. Your destination, that is your tarot. So let's begin all of this and let's get moving to all of this. And we begin with what I call astrologic. It is the combination of astrology, numerology, and it's here to give you a perspective. Remember, history repeats. The frequencies repeat. They show up differently, but they repeat. And today I begin something that I've been meaning to do for a month or two. I'm going to try to make my way through it now, and that is the conquest of America. The conquest of America. We begin roughly in the year 1700. We have Neptune trine Pluto. They're in fire signs. That's a powerful combination. And it's something that is profound. Problem is, with Neptune involved, we don't know if it's real or not. Could be an illusion, could be delusion. Don't know. The Pluto part says you got to move forward. The Pluto part says you got to evolve. The Neptune comes along, but it's never really clear. It's an ongoing project. That's why Neptune and Pluto take about 500 years to meet each other again. It's about a 500-year trip. So that's why we begin with the year 1700. That was the year that Adam Smith took usury, fascism, Marxism, whatever you want to call it, although they did not call it Marxism or fascism back in 1700. He came up with something that's called capitalism, which today is fascism. It's when business gets so big it owns government. That's why politicians around the world don't give a damn about us. Don't care. They're not working for us. They're working for the capitalists, fascists, Marxists. They have just about everything and they want all of it, and they're not going to settle for anything less. And in the meantime, they hope to destroy most of humanity. They've said so. Georgia Stones, World Economic Forum, Bill Gates, others have said, hey, 95% of people on the planet we want gone. Gone by 2050, out. Too many people. So this all kind of coalesced. It was called usury, or charging money for loaning. And it was in the 1700 era that Adam Smith said, I'll tell you what, let's forget usury. Let's call it capitalism. You need capital. Sounded real good. He said, that the government would have to control the capitalism, so on and so forth, knowing damn well that wasn't going to happen, because by 1700 they had already seen what the Rothschilds had done with the Bank of England. The Bank of England did not exist until the Rothschilds, making a deal with the king for war, what else is new, said, okay, listen, as part of the deal, we want to be able to create the Bank of England, but England doesn't own it, royalty doesn't own it, it's our bank. Now, they didn't step up front. They always stayed in the back. These people are very good at staying in the back. They don't want you to see them. But at that point, the Rothschild family and other people related to them one way or another began to take over the world. Seriously, take over the world. And because they had the Bank of England in their pocket, we had the American colonies, which were connected, obviously, to England. They thought, hey, we're going to set up our own bank in America, too. That's part of the conquest of America. This banking thing has been going on behind the curtain since at least 1700. You can go farther back than that in regards to the United States. You heard of the Boston Tea Party, right? Well, part of the reason for that was the tea company out of England was owned by the Rothschilds, and they were squeezing the American colonists, and the American colonists said, you're out of your mind. And they began the revolt. Took a few years to put it together. They weren't exactly ready to get up and stand up for their rights, but eventually they did revolt. But it all kind of coalesced. It had existed prior to this under different names, different contexts, but all of this coalesced with Adam Smith in 1700. Neptune, trine, Pluto, the conquest of America. We will continue with that story as we move along, I guarantee you. So with that being the case, how about if we take the next step forward? How about if we do the meme for today? That's a good one. Marjorie Taylor Greene, a gal who I respect, who Israel does not own in Congress, claims the Genius Act, you may have heard some talk about it, the Genius Act passed by the Senate includes a hidden backdoor for a central bank digital currency. Remember we were just talking about the Rothschilds? Remember we were talking about the banks of America? We're going to lay it all out for you in the next days ahead. But that was the whole point. The head of the Rothschild family in 1803, Meyer Rothschild, said, hey, give me control of the nation's economy. You can do what you want with the government. He knew damn well that he could buy off the politicians. And if you control the money, you control everything. And so what Marjorie Taylor Greene is saying, this Genius Act, It's another step towards central banking digital currency. She says we don't want a central bank digital currency. We don't want our future government that can turn off our bank accounts in any manner of ways. They will have you grabbed by the wallet or the purse, and they ain't going to let go. Again, the conquering of America. That's how it happened. So we move to the missing link, and the idea is don't call us far right, call us right so far. On lockdowns, we warned you about long-term harm. On inflation, we questioned the spending spree. On energy, we asked why we're importing what we have at home. When will you finally admit these warnings deserved to be heard? And in fact, inflation is one of the tools that the bankers use to steal money from you. We'll talk about that later on as well. This is survival time. This is not play nice time, because they are not about ready to play nice. So let's get to the tarot finally. Seven of Pentacles. Pentacles are a value system. They're not simply money. If you're just thinking money, this is not the podcast for you. Pentacles are values, things like love, affection, kindness, friendship, joy, happiness, gratitude. Those are the values that count. And what this person is doing is looking at his pentacle tree, so to speak. What is my value system? Do I need to improve it? Do I need to rearrange it? Do I need to put in some extra effort, some extra work to make my values really strong? You will need that effort in the days ahead, because they are literally destroying our values. The conquest of America. Back to that. Let's go to the next card, the Lovers. It has nothing to do with romance. It has everything to do with self-respect, union, harmony. What you're doing is looking at yourself and saying, okay, look, I want to make sure my value system is strong. I have to take a look at what's important to me, why it's important to me, and decide that I'm going to make changes where necessary so that I have some validity as a person. Because if I don't validate myself, I'm not going to get validation from anybody. And that's the problem with so many people these days, especially in regards to the internet. They got to get that feedback. Tell me I'm good. Tell me I'm good. Tell me. This is not that. You're looking at your value system and you're making judgments based on your well-being. And that doesn't mean selfish. It means good, healthy, strong well-being. After you do that, the Knight of Swords comes in, the third and final card. You are going to get inspired. You're going to see things in a different way. You're going to start thinking in a different way. You're going to start feeling in a different way. But none of that will happen if you don't get down to the business of taking a look at your value system, making decisions that strengthen your value system, strengthen you as a human being, so you don't need other people to keep patting you on the back. You're wonderful, you're wonderful, wonderful, because they're not going to get it. And number 3, once you get to that point, it's like your head opens up and you see the world with new eyes. We need it because we're dealing with some conquest of America stuff. We have to dig deep. The conquest of America is continuing without a single gunshot. They got you at the bank. Yeah, and it's a critical grab, that's for sure. That's it for today. We're out of time. Thank you so much. Please like and subscribe. It is essentially important right now. I understand that YouTube is backing off of their financial commitments to podcasters. I'm not so much worried about that, but I want to keep the podcasters here. Even though about half of the podcasters are full of shit and not worth your time, there is still that group that keeps you thinking, that keeps you battling, that keeps you in the battle. You got to dig deep to keep the conquest of America away. No choice. So that's it for today. Back again tomorrow with another Tao Manifested reading. Please, between now and then, take care of yourself and peace and blessings.